It's arguably the longest-running, most entertaining storyline in the history of professional wrestling. It's the Bloodline, and unfortunately, it's starting to suck. But what a storyline it's been. Roman dominating the main event scene, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, everybody getting oozy, but it seems to have lost some steam. A lot of steam. And the question is, what issues are they going to have to address if they're going to keep this thing going through WrestleMania 40? I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling, and let's take a look at 7 reasons the Bloodline is starting to suck. Now, if you enjoy this content, do us a huge favor and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and Superman punch the notification bell. Number 1. Jimmy's turn was beyond dumb. It finally happened. The cracks that Sami Zayn had exposed in the Bloodline were shattered when Jimmy Uso had finally had enough of Roman's abuse and superkicked him square in his chiseled jaw. Jay would never do something like that, because his main goal has always been to protect his brother. But Jimmy? Well, Jimmy's a wild card, and all bets were off when Jimmy punted the Tribal Chief into next week. This set the stage for Money in the Bank, where Jay did the unthinkable and pinned Roman for the first time seemingly since Hulk Hogan wore that weirdo fist helmet. Seriously, what was the deal with that? This all led to the main event of SummerSlam, where Jay and Roman would face each other for Paul Heyman's collection of fancy belts, the title of Tribal Chief, and a big old necklace. And we're not psychic, but we totally saw this one coming. Here's a clip from our SummerSlam predictions video. The real question is, will Jimmy be the one to cost Jay the title? How confident are we in this match? 10 out of 10. How confident are we that Jimmy will return to the Bloodline to be the new Tribal Chief in waiting? Less so. Let's say 3 out of 10. See? And maybe the problem isn't so much that it happened, that Jimmy turned on Jay, but why it happened. And the answer Jimmy gave was, he didn't want Jay to end up a power-hungry Tribal Chief like Roman. Okay. You couldn't have brought that up before the match, buddy? Picture it. Hey, Us, I'm worried that being Tribal Chief might go to your head and affect our day one-ish. Wow, thank you for raising that valid concern. I'll make an effort to make sure that never happens. And scene. It's cinema. It really is. Instead, we got a nonsensical turn for a stupid reason and yet another. Number 2, interference finishes. All right. For funsies, let's take a look at Roman Reigns' biggest title defenses in the past year. At SummerSlam 2022, both Usos interfered to give Reigns the victory, but that was a no DQ last standing match, so maybe he gets a pass. At Clash of the Castle, Roman retained over Drew McIntyre after interference from a debuting Solo Sikoa. At Crown Jewel, Roman bested Logan Paul in what was the best celebrity wrestling match of all time, sorry Snooki, after some interference by the Usos and Solo. At the Royal Rumble, Roman versus Kevin Owens was very clean, but from there we have the Elimination Chamber where Sami fell victim to several whacks of a chair. At Mania, Cody loses due to solo-ference, and at SummerSlam, Jay loses due to the aforementioned Jimmy-ference. So, what's the point, Senor Siete? Relax, cool your jets, I'm getting there. Where are the rematches? Why aren't Drew and Sami and Jay lobbying for a rematch instead of slinking off to lick their wounds like a bunch of GI jabronis? They hinted at this with Cody the night after WrestleMania, with him challenging Roman to a rematch, but then he got detoured into a feud with Brock Lesnar for, still undetermined reasons. But that feud is over. What's Cody doing now? But it just makes no narrative sense. Do your job, Adam Pearce. Number 3, no 30-day rule. At the time of this video, Roman Reigns has defended the unified Universal Everything Everywhere All at Once title a whopping 1 time on television since he defeated Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. That's 1 defense in 6 months. And the way things are looking, we won't get another title defense until Crown Jewel. Now, in the olden days, in the make-believe rulebook, there was a make-believe rule that stated that a WWE Championship needed to be defended every 30 days. But we'll concede that Brock Lesnar killed that rule dead when he came and went as he pleased during his title reigns. But it does ask the question, why did Chelsea Green have to pick a new tag team partner when Sonya Deville got injured? Couldn't she just wait 7 months for her to come back? Or Finn Balor? Or Seth Rollins? Or, I don't know, Roman Reigns himself? It just makes no narrative sense. Number 4, where are the contenders? Now that we're done talking about a lack of title defenses, let's talk about the lack of people talking about the lack of title defenses. In this world of competitive athletes, all of whom have trained their entire lives to compete for the industry's biggest prize, you're telling me there isn't a single babyface on SmackDown that isn't annoyed that the biggest title on the brand isn't being defended? Bobby Lashley doesn't have anything to say about this? Sheamus is just totally cool with it? LA Knight wouldn't say something super clever and follow it up with some kind of single word that affirms his aforementioned comments? Yep! Say it with me. It makes no narrative sense. Number 5, the brand split is a joke. At its heart, the brand split is a fantastic idea. You keep the roster separate to build intrigue for when you finally bring them together. Let the dream matches commence, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But the problem has always been that WWE simply doesn't have the patience to keep them apart for very long. Let's have all the champions fight at Survivor Series. Let's have a bragging rights 7-on-7 match for no reason. Both rosters get to compete in the Royal Rumble. Both rosters get to compete in Money in the Bank. Screw it. We need something to make narrative sense with the split roster structure, so call it the wild card rule. And that's when they even try to explain it. Why are The Miz and LA Knight allowed to feud other than to give The Miz an excuse to bust out a pretty solid LA Knight impersonation? Never mind the fact that when they switch up the rosters, they do it to such an extreme degree that no wrestler is ever really seen as a brand-specific talent. Maybe outside of Roman Reigns to SmackDown. What we're getting at here is that the shoddy way in which they've implemented the brand split makes the new World Heavyweight Championship look second best. It makes it seem like there was no reason to create this title other than the fact that Roman isn't around that often. And I know it's still early, but when it's being defended in lackluster main events against talents that don't have a shot in Hades at winning the darn thing, I'm looking at you, Shinsuke Nakamura, it brings the whole show down. So maybe if they tighten the screws on what the brand split actually means, it would lend some validity to this Raw title. Number 6, glacial storytelling. Remember when Roman beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and everyone's first instinct was, oh, they're not going to beat Roman at a non-WrestleMania event, so we're in for another 12 months of this thing? Yeah, it was daunting. How are they going to stretch this thing out for so long? Like add Cousin Oliver to the Bloodline? No, the answer was simple. Just stretch things out. Seriously, Roman has had one singles match since WrestleMania, and his schedule isn't going to pick up much from there. We're guessing he'll defend against AJ Styles at Crown Jewel, then Survivor Series, he'll probably lead a new Bloodline against Jay's Raw team or something like that in a War Games match, which will lead to Roman against Solo at the Royal Rumble, and then we'll be good for the Cody Rhodes rematch at WrestleMania. 2 title defenses before Mania, against talents we know Roman isn't going to lose to. Oh, and speaking of which, number 7, Solo ain't it. Okay, maybe someday Solo Sikoa will go on to be the greatest professional wrestler of all time. He'll unify the WWE and AEW titles. Every match he has will be at least 16 stars on the Meltzer scale. He'll get Vince McMahon and Tony Khan to dance in that fountain like in the opening of Friends. But right now, he ain't that guy. And they're treating him like he's the second coming of Batista, the charismatic heavy that the crowd is just dying to see him turn on his mentor. You can see them do it. How many times does a moment in a Roman Reigns match hinge on some miscommunication between Reigns and Sikoa, and they will they or won't they? Like the friggin' Sam and Diane on Cheers. Honestly, there's been a lot more sitcom references than I anticipated in this entry. It's weird, but the truth is he's playing a big guy's role, and he's not that big of a guy. And he doesn't have the charisma to make up the difference. Again, he might get there someday, but he definitely ain't there yet. And when the Bloodline storyline inevitably takes its sweet time pointing towards a match between the two, I'm gonna be bored. Because there's no way he's gonna be the one to end Reigns' reign. Wait, Reigns' reign? Yeah, that's right, Reigns' reign. Well, there's our list. Are we wrong? Is the Bloodline storyline still super awesome? If so, let us know in the comment section. Also, we're a relatively new site, and we'd appreciate it if you'd like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.